Hey guitar fam and friends, how's it going? It's Nate Savage here. I'm very excited to bring this solo to you today from the Tracy Chapman song, Give Me One Reason. The guitar player who recorded this is named Adam Levy. And I think this is just a wonderful, excellent, almost kind of like mandatory learning solo if you want to get into the blues and be able to play the blues proficiently. It's really great for learning how to switch back and forth between minor pentatonic scales, are all around the fretboard of the guitar, and then a more major pentatonic-y sounding scale. It's a really BB's box, which is kind of a modified major pentatonic scale, but we'll go over that as we get to it. If you've been wanting to get into blues, I would put B.B. King, Thrill Is Gone, the first solo from that song, on your must-learn list, and this one too. This one I think is a little bit easier, except for maybe one or two little parts, but it's very, very, very good for getting the foundations of how to play the blues down with these little tiny mini pentatonic shapes. The resources for this lesson are available for you on guitarfam.com. There's a jam track that just loops this progression over and over again, and the tab and notation for you are available there too. And on the screen, I'll have the scale shapes that I'm using too, so you can really dig into that. That to me is really important because that teaches you kind of how to fish instead of just giving you a fish. I'll have the scale degrees in there too, or we'll be mentioning the scale degrees of these shapes as we go through this too. But download those if you haven't yet. Go to guitarfam.com and create your complimentary account. You'll have access to the first module of all of our premium courses, and every Guitar Fam member, whether it's complimentary or premium, gets one personal private one-on-one video lesson with me. You can schedule that on the site. Let's get into it. So we're in the key of F sharp blues here. So your one chord is going to be F major or F dominant 7. Four chord is going to be B major B7, and the 5 is going to be a C sharp dominant 7. So let's just go through the chord progression real quick. You get is a pickup into it, the measure before, then you have your F sharp that starts for one measure of F sharp. The next measure you split between a B7 and a C sharp 7. Then back to F sharp for two measures. B for a measure. Then a measure split between B and C. Then F sharp for two measures. Then C sharp, the 5, for one measure. Then B for one measure. And you end with two measures of F sharp. And then it just, loops over and over again. At least the jam track does. But that's the progression. It's kind of a modified 12-bar blues kind of thing. You can look at it that way if you want. All right, like I mentioned, this is a excellent solo for learning how to use minor pentatonics and more of a major pentatonic sound to play over a blues. And the primary one we're going to be learning, I'll tell you these as we go and you can look at the shapes, but the primary thing we're going to be doing here is just using the little tiny mini shape starting on this F sharp for the first phrase. So if you don't know this shape, this is what you need to learn to play the blues, or at least to start and have a good foundation in it. And I'll put the box shape up on the screen. So that's what it's based off, this F sharp here on the 7th fret of the B string. Okay, and if you know the numbers that go with that, that will really help you too. So lowered 7, 1, 5, 3, 4. And you can either bend up or slide up to the 5. And if that's all you know with the blues, you can get by with that. It's awesome. So this first lick, the home bass chord, is that F sharp on the 7th fret of the B string. It starts by sliding in from the 4th fret of the G string with my middle finger to the 6th fret. Okay, and then I'm into my box. 5, 7, 7. That first little bit. From there, I'm going to go to the 5th fret of the high E string. And that's the lowered third of the minor pentatonic scale. And almost anytime you have a lower third, or most of the time you have a minor third or lower third in the solo, you're going to bend it up a quarter step. That kind of nasty blues lick there. You're not ever getting quite up to the major third, but you're doing right in between the major and the minor third. And then you slide down a little bit to end that note. So that first phrase. And probably the hardest thing about this song wasn't learning the notes, it was learning the little articulations, bends, vibrato, slides, all of those things. So From there, we go up to 7 with third finger, bend that up a whole step, bend it up a whole step again, and then let it down, pick it on 7, and pull off to 5. And then go to 7 of the B string and put some vibrato on it. So that next little lick, and even those two bends, I'm not picking the second one. I'm just bending it up twice and then pick, pull off to 5, 7 of the B string. From there, you go up to the 5th fret of the high E string. Again, that's your lower third, so you bend it up a quarter step. And then 7, 7 again, pull off to 5. And then back to 7 of the B string. And I'll stop there. Oh no, let's go ahead and put it on the next few notes. So from here, 3rd fret of that 7, you're gonna go over to 6 of the G string with your middle finger. Back to 7 with your 3rd finger. That's your root note, that F sharp. Put some vibrato on it. And then back to that lower 3rd on the 5th fret of the high E string. Since this is a lower 3rd, bend it up a little bit, that little quarter step bend, and slide down. So that first phrase is all down here in this little box shape. So try to memorize the numbers: lower 7, 1, flat 3, 4, 5. And you can even write them in on the tab if you want. That's a really good exercise, because once you can use that here in one spot, you can use it anywhere on the guitar. It's great. Any other F sharp that you want. If you want to download the jam track and just improvise with a shape, that's a really good idea. And the whole first few notes are just a pickup bar. So you have, as soon as you hit that on the and a 4, then you're into the first measure of the solo. So 1, 2. Okay, from there, this is where we're going to switch to something that's commonly referred to as BB's box. It's not quite a major pentatonic, but it sounds a lot like a major pentatonic scale, and it functions like it too. So from there, I slide up to the 8th fret of the G string with my middle finger, and then the 7th fret of that the B string, which is our F sharp. So I'm switching my root note to being played with my 3rd finger, minor shape, to my index finger, which gives me more of a major shape. And that's the phrase: slide up to 8, over to 7 on the B string, some vibrato, and back to 8 with my middle finger. So that's basically a 6 of the scale and then a 1. And here's the shape for this little BB's box idea. You're just gonna go 7, 9, with your 1st and 3rd fingers, and then over to 7 and 9, same thing, same numbers on a high E string, and bend it up. And those are the notes of what I'm kind of thinking about. And if you've ever heard anything like this, that's what I'm thinking about when I play this lick. It's not quite major pentatonic, but it's really kind of the same feel and vibe to it. So I have to go. So I'll start off. From there, you go to the 9th fret of the high E string, bend it up a whole step, let it down, play it, roll over to the 9th fret of the B string, little quarter step bend, let it down, play the 9th fret, just unbent, and then 7, back to our root note there, with some vibrato, all right? Back to 8 of the G string. So that first little lick over with the more major pentatonic-y sounding thing, BB's box. From there, still remaining in this box, bend 9 up on the B string, 3rd finger, little quarter step bend, 7, 9 to the high E string, and then go back to 9. And what you do is you bend up, quarter step bend, let it down. And as you let it back down, you pull off to 7. Then 8 of the G string, 7 of the B string. And from there I go just to slide up to 11. This is where I kind of shift thinking about into the next shape. So I'll play that whole thing. And from there, I'll slide up to 11, or I use my third finger starting on the 9th fret, and then back to the 9th fret with my index finger. This is where I've shifted, right? And then I come over to the 10th fret of the B string with a little third finger with a little quarter step bend and a slide down. And that whole phrase starts on the second beat of measure 4. So it'll sound like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, and one more time up to speed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, and that's probably the trickiest bit, that little part where you have to slide up. It's the trickiest bit of the whole solo. And one thing I should mention, before I started learning this solo, I had to listen to it, listen. And only until I could sing it or like hum along to it in my mind, then I could play it, and it made it much easier to play. So I'd really recommend listening to this over and over and over again. Like, make it part of your daily practice routine. Just listen to the solo for 4 times each day or something. And this next solo lick is pretty interesting. We shift away from thinking about a pentatonic scale or BB's box or something like that. I start thinking about chords. I'll play the lick for you. And what I'm seeing for this first one, I just see this F sharp major right here. And I'm taking what would be the lower third. If I see an F sharp minor, I'm taking that lower third out of here and the 5th on top, and I'm bending that lower third up to the major third, almost to the major third, to make it sound really bluesy. So you get the 3rd and the 5th of an F sharp major chord here on the 10th fret and the 9th fret. I'm using my 3rd and 2nd fingers for that. I hold the note on the high E string still and just bend up with my 3rd finger on that A to get it to go to almost to an A sharp. I take that same shape, move it up 2 frets, and this is kind of a passing thing for it. I do it again, and then I come back here and grab that A, the lower third, with my index finger, while kind of retaining that shape, getting it at the ready, because I move it up 1 more half step and do the same thing, just bend and put some vibrato on top. And when you do that, what you end up doing is E is the 7th of an F sharp dominant 7 chord. And this right here is the flat 5, that C. We're bending it up to a C sharp. And the chord that I think about, the chord shape, is this F sharp 7 right here, or it's based on this one, just the E shape. But that's what you're doing, like, theoretical from that standpoint. And that's why it sounds good. That's a super cool lick. And I guess I am kind of hybrid picking this lick. Just pick and middle finger. You don't have to, you can do just pick, So let me play that whole thing for you up to that point. From there, I stopped thinking about chord shapes and I moved to this F sharp, A-shaped F sharp right here, or dominant 7 right there, and the minor pentatonic that goes along with it, 5th string rooting up shape, right? Classic pentatonic shape starting from the 5th fret, and this F sharp on the 11th fret becomes my base of operation for this little string of licks on the last part of the solo. So I'm really just seeing this scale shape up top, and the first lick starts off pinky finger on the 12th fret of the high E string, these 3 fingers on the 12th fret of the B string at the ready to bend the B string up. So I play 12th fret of the high E, and then 12th fret of the B, and put some vibrato on it, bent up a whole step. And it ends up, sounding like the Rolling Stones or some kind of country lick, right? Leave it bent up. Hit the pinky note again on the 12th fret of the high E. Hit the note you have bent up on the B string again. Let it down. Then 10th fret of the B string. And then just a little bend on the 12th fret. 10, 12 on the B string. Some vibrato, and that's a hammer on. So So that first little lick. From there you go 10, 12 on the B string, and then pinky, high E string, 12th fret, pre-bend the 12th fret of the B string there, bend it, let it down, 10, 12, first third fingers on the B string, and then quarter step bend on the 10th fret of the B string with your index finger. So here you go. Okay, so after that little bend, you hop over to the 11th fret of the G string, and then roll that 11th fret, third finger, over to the D string, same fret, 11th fret. So then you're going to reach back to the 9th fret of the G string with your index finger, pre-bend it at just a little quarter step, let it back down, and then 11, 9 of the D string. And this is where I'm starting to get into another shape. So from here, that 11, I slide or shift down to the 9th fret of the D string, then 7th fret of the D string with a little quarter step bend with my index finger. And I end on this F sharp on the 9th fret of the A string, and that is my kind of my home base, that F sharp, for the last few notes. So most of this, like I said, is taking place in the top part of this F sharp minor pentatonic A string root note, fifth string root note. So really slowly, 1, 2, 3. All right, that's it for this video. If you've been wanting to get into lead guitar or the blues, I would highly recommend making this your go-to song, like Hill to Die On song that you're gonna learn. It covers so many of the crucial fundamentals of lead guitar: vibrato, bending, how to use minor pentatonic scales, how to use BB's box, that if you can master that, you're gonna be in a really good spot to go learn other blues or even blues rock songs. So that's really cool. Also take this as an opportunity to really dig into those little mini fragment minor pentatonic scale shapes, because those really, to me, are the key to being able to proficiently play through the blues and know what you're playing instead of just playing through a shape. Don't forget, all the resources are available for you on the Guitar Fam site. Create your complimentary account if you haven't done that yet, and we'll see you there. If you have any other requests for solos, leave them in the comments for this video. Bye.